right, before we get to our final game, if you want to get free picks from Jim Feist sent right to your cell phone, you can get them every day, Jim, and it's real free to sign up.
Absolutely. They should sign up. They should subscribe on YouTube as well. Sign up for free picks. Just text WINNER, WINNER, to 313131. We'll send you free picks each and every day right to your cell phone. That's WINNER to 313131.
All right, here's how you sign up on YouTube. You just subscribe to Jim Feist's YouTube page. It's called Sports Betting. How do you do it? Well, you just click on the subscription link right up there. You'll get Jim's daily updates on team previews, free picks, as well as Pro Line, all direct from Las Vegas, and it's free. All right, the Sunday night game, perhaps it is a Super Bowl preview we might be talking about in February. Got the Broncos playing at the 49ers. San Francisco, 3.5-point favorite, total of 40. And both teams, well, San Francisco went to Baltimore last week, and they really didn't show anything as they got crunched 23-3. Meanwhile, the Broncos had more of an emotional or motivated game than you see in week 1 of preseason. That was against the Seattle Seahawks. The revenge that people made it out for the Super Bowl wasn't quite that, but the Broncos did get a win, 21-16 with a late touchdown. The starting quarterbacks are very good, but boy, Joe, when I look at the backups, Broncos have Zach Dysert, Brock Osweiler, Brian Renner, and the 49ers after Colin Kaepernick, Blaine Gabbert, who didn't look good, 3 of 11 last week, Josh Johnson, and McLeon Thompson. How do you assess these two teams coming into week 2?
Well, John, I was a little surprised at how much some of the stars did play in week 1. And as you mentioned, Denver's backup quarterbacks, I'm sure at least 1 or 2 of them will be parking cars at Caesar's Palace in a month or so. But these are certainly 2 of the NFL elite teams. As you said, Denver avenged, so to speak, their Super Bowl loss. They have very little play for here. San Fran, they have some depth at key positions. And after last week's ugly performance, putting up 3 points, I feel they may have to come out here and make a statement. They are a team to beat in their conference. I see Kaepernick, Gabbert getting more snaps, Gore playing. Their wide receiving core is deep, getting a lot of action. The 3.5 bothers me. I would get it down to 3 if I could. I would buy it down to 3, but I would have to side with San Fran here.
Okay, and Jim, you got a very good coach here, and Jim Harbaugh not only wins in the regular season, but covers games in the preseason 8-5 against the spread. If you like to play totals, Harbaugh's teams are also 8-5 under the total. And then you got, I have to look at motivation for this one. San Fran, I don't blame them for packing it in, so to speak, on that 3,000-mile trip last week. And then they got shellacked, but now they might have more interest in playing hard this week with only 3 games left, and they basically had vacation last week. And then there's the Broncos. Boy, the motivation seemed to be there with them, especially early on when they came out against Seattle. But now heading out on the road against San Francisco, I wonder if they're going to be even interested or motivated in a game against a top-notch team that they are going to be seeing in the regular season in a few months.
Well, when you look at what Peyton Manning has done in his career in preseason, he doesn't get much playing time. And against the physical defense like San Francisco has, after playing a little bit against Seattle, which is also a physical defense, you don't want to get this guy hurt. He's had three neck operations. He's 38 years old. He's on the back end of the career. There's no question about it. The coaches are smart for Denver. I don't think they're going to put him at risk. So I don't think you're going to see a lot of Peyton Manning. And the backup quarterbacks for the team are kind of marginal, or very marginal. The other side, San Francisco, Kaepernick has really never 100% proven himself to a lot of people. He's great talent, there's no question. But the backups are very, very marginal. So I think what you're going to see in this game is a very slowed down game, not a lot of activity. The total is probably too high. I'm going to go under in this spot. I just don't see a lot of motivation, a lot of reason to produce. Denver has a very tough schedule this year. They have to play Seattle, and they got to play San Francisco again in the regular season.
Jim, I'm going to take a look at the total in this game. I agree with the fact that the 49ers should be favored, but I also agree with Joe that this is a high number for a preseason game. 3.5 might even edge up higher. And I'm reluctant to lay that when you got the backup quarterback situation that the 49ers have, Johnson, Gabbert, and Thompson. I'm just not convinced that they can score a lot of points. And the Denver quarterback situation is also bad. Brock Osweiler, Zach Dysert, and the rookie Brian Renner. And as far as Peyton Manning playing, why would they risk him for much series or any at all with the neck problems? And then what stood out last week was Denver's defense was actually pretty good against Seattle, held the Seahawks to 3 of 11 for third down. That was a run-oriented team that they could gamble a little bit on. Well, it's the same type of team they'll be playing this week in San Francisco. Finally, these teams met last year, 10-6 final, way under the total, and the 49ers in week 2 are also on a 4-0 under the total run. Okay, let's wrap up here. If you want to get plays from Joe D'Amico and Jim Feist, you can go to jimfeist.com. Joe, you're on that 10-5 August run. What do you have going for this weekend?
This Saturday, I've isolated 3 huge winners at a discounted guaranteed rate, huge discount. This Sunday, the late game, KC, Carolina, one of the biggest, strongest plays I've seen in preseason as far back as I can remember. And guys, I want to take this opportunity. I want to thank John. I want to thank Jim for having me aboard here. I particularly want to thank all of you listeners. I appreciate everything you do for us, and trust me, you follow us and you will line your pockets this season. Just go to jimfeist.com, get all of our winning information, and you'll have the best season you ever had.
All right, and make sure you check out Jim Feist's Rare High-End Systems play. That play is available for $100 at jimfeist.com. It's normally a $250 play. That is available right now. You can get those plays and more. Make sure you take advantage getting on board with these Las Vegas experts. Make sure you look for college and pro football previews at Sports Betting on YouTube and jimfeist.com on the web. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week with another edition of Pro Life.